Welcome to Artistic Adventures. This is part 3 of our Blythe customization project, and today we're going to be working mostly on the nose, but we'll also do a little bit of finishing touches on the mouth, and we're also going to do a little bit of sanding. So let's get started. When we left off last time, we had been working on the lips. Let me see if I can make sure this is in focus. And I did go ahead and do some sanding around just to smooth it out a little bit. I'm sure we'll be doing a little bit more to the mouth. But I wanted to show you why I like this product so much. When you're sanding, I mean, you can do this obviously, but then you're going to wear out this corner of the sandpaper. So the nice thing is with this, you can fold it. You can really get use of all the aspects of this. And also, folding it like this, you can get into crevices, like, you know, this space between the lips, or the space of the bottom lip that I want to have. That would be hard to get to with a lot of other types of ways, or you can, you know, do like that. Also, you can use this in the crease of the lips to get that sanded like that. I think that, you know, for me, this product is really awesome. And once again, I am trying to go in circles. So, we kind of got the mouth to a certain stage, and now we want to work on the nose. And the things that we're going to be working on are creating some definition by carving around here to create a line, because most of us have that sort of line where the nose, the nostrils meet the face. We're going to be putting nostrils in. We've already sanded down the extreme point that this nose has, and we've got it nice and rounded. We may do a little more sanding in this area, and making sure that where the nose meets here is smooth, and in this area also. So the first thing I want to do is put some holes where the nostrils will be, and I want to do that because it really kind of helps me with everything else that I'm doing. So I'm going to use my watercolor pencil here, or you could use a regular pencil. You want to think about where the nostrils are, because if you're going to drill in a little bit to create the hole, you don't want that to come out. So like if you came too far this way, you wouldn't have that much room, you know, to come out, and you have to be careful with that. So I also want these holes to be symmetrical as far as where they are on either side of the philtrum. And this just is a good guide to look at. So that's where I want the nostrils, and I'm going to just use this tool for that. And I think I told you this last time. The reason I really like this is it's not as aggressive as a Dremel, and a Dremel goes round and round like a drill. This vibrates, so even if you have it on and you touch it, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't hurt. It's kind of like those drills they use when you get a cast cut off of your arm. It's a vibration, so that way when they're cutting through the cast, even if the blade hit you, it's vibrating. It's not cutting. It's not going around, so it can't cut your skin. And I even do this while I'm using it. Sometimes it does get a buildup of the plastic in it, and so I'll just touch it to my finger, and it vibrates the plastic off and keep going. So if you use a Dremel, you're going to probably get in trouble because it's going to grind down really fast, and this is not going to do that. So that's why I was suggesting this nail tool versus a Dremel. So we're going to get started on the nose. So what I usually look at is doing these nostrils first. So I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to use this, it's like got a little ball, tiny little ball on the end, and then it's graduated. Let's see how that works. You want to be careful doing this because it does have a tendency when you're doing it to want to go chirp. So just don't press too hard and go straight in. And that usually gets the indentation started. I'm going to go over here and do this one. So we've got our little holes started. I'm going to switch over to a different bit. I'm going to try this narrow one here. Looks like that. I'm going to leave that for now because I don't want to get too aggressive until we do a little bit more work. And then I may widen those because those are little small holes, and you know, nostrils are not really exactly round. They're more oval, I guess. Anyway, so it's a start. At least we know now where our nostrils are going to be. Okay. So, lower this a little bit. And the other thing I want to start doing is carving around the nose. And I want to do that first by scraping. So I'm just lowering the skin around the nose, keeping the nose intact, and then I'm going to curve it around here. Like that. And now I need the curved blade. I'm going to just scrape sort of a way to get rid of any plastic that I sort of pulled up when I was carving. Okay, let's see where we are. I did do a little more carving to around the nose. Make sure I got this in focus. All right, yeah. I did a little more carving around here and defining that line. A little bit more around here. A little more under here. I put a little bit of lines on the bottom lip, not a lot, and then there's these lines on the top of the lip. So, I'll let you see it from the side. Let's look at the first versus the original. So you can see a lot of the difference in, you know, the nose, how pointy it is. No nostrils on this side. Well, very, very smallly indented. And then, of course, the lips are, you know, pretty plain, whereas these, you know, have more definition and character. Wider, fuller, more realistic looking. So now what I'm going to do is take this sponge and really just go over the whole face in these circular motions everywhere to just make sure I've got every little tiny scratch, carving mark, or indentation smooth. So I'm going to do that off camera and then I'll be back. Now that I've sanded a lot, really get to the point where I think she's pretty much finished. So I want to show you a couple of things that I did. I kind of tweaked a little bit as I was sanding. I noticed some things. First of all, I wanted to make this bottom lip part sort of go in. I don't want it to be equal to the top in terms of height. So what I did is I took the X-Acto and I trimmed that down a little bit on both sides, and then I sanded it. I also used this tool to go in and make a hole that's more rounded. That's more rounded and just on the sides there. That doesn't work. I'll just point to it because I'm not going to pick it up. So this is more rounded here right at the corner, and that's really kind of how mouths look. And I did that on both sides. So I want the top lip kind of hanging over the bottom part right here. I used this tool to go around and really get rid of any little scraps of plastic that were sticking in the creases, in here and in the nose. I also used the 600 grit sandpaper, which is pretty fine, not the finest, but to go into the crease of the nostril on the side and sand that. That works pretty good for that. And I did use this tool really everywhere to just get rid of all those little scraps of plastic from sanding or that might still be clinging or whatever. Sanded in a little bit in here with one of these tools with the pointy end, and then I used this to make sure I got out all the other stuff. So I think, you know, I'm pretty satisfied at this point that I've got her smooth everywhere. There were areas that I needed to take down more in this area, so I used the orange, which is more coarse, and then I went over it with the gray, which is a finer grit, to get rid of any streaks. They don't show up as much here, but when we put the matte medium on, those streaks really do show up. And I hate it when, like, you think you're finished and you've got to the point you're putting the matte medium on and you're like, oh, that don't look good. Then you gotta take the matte medium completely off and resand it and then put it back on. So the next step will be to take her to the sink, wash her really good. I have a little toothbrush in there where I can get into all the crevices, get rid of all the little minute particles that might still be clinging. Once she's clean and dry, then I'm going to put down the Liquitex matte medium and let her dry, and then we'll be ready to start doing the color, and we'll do that in the next video. So for this video, we are done, and we'll be moving on next week to the color process. Okay, thanks, and hope you all enjoyed this part. So we're moving right along with this Blythe customization project. I hope you will subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and make sure you hit the little bell, and it'll notify you whenever I have a new video come up. Thanks, and bye.